Alright, YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So let's get right into this video. Let's talk about how you're a light and why your life is so hard. So if you're watching this video, you probably already know that you're kind of this light, right? Like you're a person who's really kind, who's really, energetic. Like you have a lot of energy. You have a lot of optimism about you. You see like the good in life. You see the bad in life, but you go to the good, right? But because you're this light, you suffer kind of more than other people do. You just suffer with a lot of things. Like, not only are you just more sensitive to things, like when you see things are evil or dark, they kind of start to hurt you because you're like, wow, this is vile. Like, this is terrible. And how do people even do this? Like, you just see things for what they really are, right? Your eyes are always open to the world, and you see the world and you're just like, wow, this is pretty bad, right? And you need to understand that because you're this light, this is how it's always going to be your whole life, right? You're always going to see the good. You're always going to see the bad. You're going to see through things pretty easily. You're going to see how corrupt things are, how evil things could be, how bad things could be. Just you're going to see everything, right? And because you see everything, and you're likely a person who's really intelligent, you just know things. You might not even know where you know things, but your knowledge comes from above, right? It comes from God. And it may even feel like for you as if you came to this world and you're like, what even is this world? Like, what is this, right? And you probably said that to yourself before too, like what on earth is this? Like, this is terrible, right? And when you think of these things, like, you're judging the world and seeing it for what it is. Like, it's normal. You see the truth about things, and you see it, and you might be the person who always questions why, right? And because you're likely this really intelligent person who sees pretty much everything going on, you have this intelligence, but it's a blessing and a curse. Because it's a blessing because you're able to be aware of everything, but it's also a curse because you are aware of everything, it starts to hurt you, right? So it brings more like sorrow, it brings depression, it brings anxieties, it brings all these things. And this is just how your life is going to be if you're this light, right? Because you're not a person who just conforms, who just like does things because they need to, right? Or you don't just do things to conform, or you don't just do things because it's the right thing to do, right? And this is why your life is so difficult, because you're always moving around your life, and you have your dreams. You have a dream in your spirit. You have whatever that you're thinking about, right? And you have these dreams, and then you see what the world is like, and then you're just like, nah, this isn't gonna work. Like, this is terrible. Like, this world is. So you might find yourself being kind of like questioning, like, why am I even here, right? And this happens to everybody that has like a different purpose to them. They're gonna question, like, why am I even here, right? Because not everybody questions that, right? If you question that, it's a good thing, because you know that you're built for something different. And you'll question yourself. You're like, why am I even here? Like, this world is full of evil. It's full of adversities. It's full of just a lot of bad things. And you might be like, what's the point of this? Like, what's the point of this? All I see is evil. All I see is stuff I don't even want to do. All I see is stuff that is just pointless, right? And God made you this way for a specific reason. That's why you're like chosen, right? You have a light to you, and you see the world for what it is. And because you're this light, you have the ability to change things, because you have a lot of power inside of you. And you might not realize this, or you might know this a little bit, but with like confidence or like circumstances, you might just like push it off, right? But you know that it's always there, and you're always just like, man, I could change something about this, or I could just like work to make it better, because it needs to be better. The world is constantly changing, and there's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of evil and everything. And if you're someone who's a light, you're supposed to stop darkness and lead people and things away from the dark, right? And stop getting people to perish, pretty much. So that's what you do. And it's a lot harder on you, because since you see everything for what it is, you start to really notice the truth. And you're a person who's probably really authentic, and you see the truth about everything. And whenever you see the truth is not always nice, right? The truth is always strong, it's powerful. And when you see the truth about things, you're just like, man, this is kind of just messed up, right? You're just like, this is wrong, like this is that, this is this. But just know that you have God with you. Like, God is always with you. And this is why your life also goes kind of as if like you go through a lot of really strong adversities and everything, but you always come out of them. You just always come out of them. It could be anything. It could be the darkest thing on this earth, and you somehow still get out of it. You still somehow rise above it, right? It's because you have God on your side all the time. And this is why God has people who he chooses. Like, God has people who he needs something for them to do. And this is why your life has always been kind of just like weird, like full of like childhood traumas, full of a lot of like difficult scenarios, a lot of stuff. But you've always found out that you always had strength. Like, every day you just kept getting through everything. It's always every day you just keep getting through it and keep getting through it. It's nonstop. You just keep getting through it. And you're like, well, how do I even have this strength, right? You need to understand that you're a really strong person. If you're a light in this world, in this dark world, you're going to have tremendous power. You're going to need a lot of power. So this is why you always kind of just like going through situations that you don't understand. But even if you don't understand them, you end up rising above them every time. You just always rise up. It's always like constant challenges. And I know I've seen some comments on this channel where you guys say like, this is pointless. Like, there's pointless challenges. It's nothing but adversity after adversity after adversity. It's nonstop, right? It feels like you're going up a mountain that never stops, right? It's always just going up. It's always an uphill battle for you, right? But this is just how it's going to be. And you probably notice that even if you're walking up this mountain that's nonstop, you're always getting smarter, you're always getting stronger, you're always getting better, you're just always improving because of it, because you're seeing more stuff, you're getting a lot more knowledge and everything. This is how your life is going to be if you're someone who is of God, if you're like a chosen one of God, if you have this light to you, right? You're a spiritual person, you have a light to you. This is how it's going to be. You're going to see the darkest and you're going to see the brightest. You're going to see both of these, right? And you don't have a choice with this. It's not even your fault when you go through situations, right? These things are all divinely connected. Everything in your life is divinely connected. So the things that you go through, that you question and everything, it's not really in your control necessarily. It's not necessarily like you even did anything. It's just what you have to go through, because you have the strength to overcome it and see through for what it is. So you're constantly going to be battling challenges. And I know this sounds like tiring and everything, but this is how your life is going to be. And you're always going to have your energy. You're always going to have your strength. You're always going to be put together. You're always going to rise up on top. It's never like you're ever going to just like quit. This is why I speak in a lot of my other videos where like you just want to like quit. You're just like, man, I'm done with this life. Like, I don't even want to deal with this. Like, this is so pointless. This is just nothing but pain after pain after struggle after struggle after just a lot of, BS, right? But just know that it's all for a reason. And just know when you look at yourself and how much you improve year after year, you start to see like why you went through these things and why you had to see these things and why you had to feel these and why you had to go through these situations and everything. You always see it as, no, I mean, you need to look at it as if it was a blessing, because it was. Because if you're supposed to serve God, right, you're supposed to be someone who's chosen, or you are someone that's chosen, you wouldn't be able to get the knowledge that you have or the strength that you have if you don't go through these situations, if you don't go through whatever adversities you have. And this is why your life also feels cursed, right? Because every blessing has a curse and every curse has a blessing. And you might think your life is like cursed because you're always kind of like fighting, challenges and everything. You're always just fighting stuff, and you're like, why can't I just ever relax? Like, why can't I just chill? Why can't I just why can't I just, you know, just do whatever I want, right? But this is not what your purpose is. This is not who you are. You're a person who's supposed to overcome pretty much everything. Because any light in this world is supposed to beat everything that's dark. You're supposed to rise up after everything. So no matter what it is, it could be like whatever you're dealing with. It could be mental illness, drug addictions or whatever, financial issues, sicknesses, and everything. And you'll question yourself and be like, why is this happening to me? Like, I haven't done anything. Like, I see everyone else in my life pretty much thriving their life, right? I mean, they have their challenges, but they don't have it like you, right? Where you have like 9 different challenges, right? But this is just how your life is going to be. And yes, it is unfair, but you are equipped with a lot of strength, right? Because that's why I always say that a lot of challenges that you've gone through in your life, these are challenges that a lot of people would have shot themselves or like just ended it all. They would have just stopped. They would have been like, I can't do this. But you might have been the type of person that you went through a lot of these situations, and yes, you might have been like, you know what, I just want to like just end it. I don't even want to, like, this is just pointless. Like, it's too much struggle, right? But you've always found out that you always rise above it. You just keep beating it. It's like something inside of you is just always conquering everything, right? This is how you're supposed to be. You're a natural conqueror in Christ, right? And yes, your life is heavily burdened. It's really burdened, just with a lot of challenges. It's like you can never really chill. Ever since even you were young, it could have started ever since you were young. You never really had just a smooth life. It's always been bumpy like this, right? It's always been just challenge after challenge, a little bit of peace, and then challenge, a little bit of peace, and then challenge. It was like nonstop, right? It was like a staircase that's never stopping. It's like you're always moving up and up and up and up and up. But you might notice that you've beat every challenge, and whatever challenge that you're in, you're gonna beat. You're just gonna constantly beat things, and this is how your life is gonna go. And I know it seems kind of like depressing a little bit, because you're like, okay, it's kind of pointless. Like, I just want to chill. I want to live my life like everyone else's, right? But you're just purposed differently. You're just purposed for different things. This is why you're also so different too, because you're destined to overcome a lot of these things. You have a whole different personality to you. You have a whole different type of light to you. You have a whole different type of knowledge to you. Like, you might be someone who's incredibly smart. Like, you just have a lot of intelligence, and this intelligence could have been all the way since you were really young. And it's not for no reason that you're like that, right? So that's what you guys need to kind of understand about it. It's like you don't really have a choice necessarily with what you're going through. This is what your life is like, and you can't really do anything about it, right? You just have to figure out a way to beat whatever it is that you're doing, or like overcome whatever that you're doing, or just change your feelings about a situation, or like just it's gonna be kind of a battle your whole life. This is just how it is, and this is something I had to learn too. It's gonna be just challenging your whole life, but you've overcame 100% of the battles that you face. So you need to have confidence that no matter what battle that it is, you're gonna beat it. This is just what you're naturally supposed to do. You're a light in this world, so you constantly just beat the dark. You're constantly beating things, and you're getting better and better and better each time. So, oh yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this one's a little bit more serious, but this is real. This is realistic. This is what a lot of you guys go through. This is what a lot of people go through. This is what your life is gonna be like. So. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. All right, God bless you guys.